Hello everyone, it's me again, Steve Doja here, back to more Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and this time we'll be going over everything in the tournament, its unique settings, enemy difficulty, the no-fly rules, and many more. Now you can get a quick view of everything here in this gameplay, provided us by Globeku by the way. Check out the full video in the description if you want to see what a real max difficulty enemy looks like, what tournament matches with no flying rules look like, and many more. Now, Sparking Zero does have a lot of strengths, however, there are some parts of the game that actually are missing aspects that the previous Tenkaichi game had, and some parts of the tournament customization that is a little disappointing, but for the most part, I think it's a general upgrade, way better than Dragon Ball FighterZ by a long shot, and actually way better than Tenkaichi 3. However, there are some things that are missing that I think will actually, affect the way people have fun with tournaments, especially if they played Tenkaichi 3, but this is a new game that a lot of people are going to be trying for the first time. It's probably out of bounds on, off. You know what I mean? It's crazy that every map has an out of bounds. I wonder if Cell Games is actually going to have the out of bounds that Goku and Cell were teasing when they were fighting each other. That would be a cool feature. You can also see all the AI difficulty there for the tournament mode. There are 4 rather than 3 this time, which is a big step up from Tenkaichi 3. However, it doesn't really matter because Sparking Zero is actually way easier. Even if you play on super difficulty, it's easier than playing on the last difficulty in Tenkaichi 3. So Sparking Zero overall is a much easier game than Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi 3. However, if you're looking for true hellish difficulty, akin to Red Potara Demons, then again, you can find that in custom battle mode, and you'll see the full thing in Globeku's video. But for now, I'm going to go over the tournament settings, and then we'll actually cover how the fights are affected by these changes. As we see in the Create a Tournament section, there are a lot of different rules, so we'll just go through them really quickly as to not take too much time, because this on its own would be its own separate video if I don't go through it really quick. So in the World Tournament, which is the most standard Dragon Ball Z tournament, it's been in every Dragon Ball game, you have the, arena that you can get knocked out of. Not really anything too special, you get all your health at the beginning of the match, the timer is this long, etc, etc. Now the big World Tournament, or the large World Tournament, is gone from Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, but we do still get to have the Cell Games tournament. The Cell Games forces you to be always on the Cell Stage arena, and in the final match you always fight Cell at the end. I think the version of Cell you fight is depending on the difficulty you select. For example, you'd fight Super Perfect Cell if you picked the hardest mode, and just Perfect Cell if you picked medium mode. You only get 20% of your health back every match, so in the Cell Games you want to keep as much health as possible, because if you mess around then that's health you lose permanently, because there's a good chance you won't get that health back if you take too much damage. 20% in Sparking Zero, it's really easy for someone to take 20% damage in this game compared to Tenkaichi 3, so you want to stay on your toes when you're playing the Cell Games. The other World Tournament, it's like the regular World Tournament, except that you have the ability to be on any stage, like any stage in the game, and I don't think there's an out-of-bounds section. There was never an out-of-bounds section in the other World Tournament. It doesn't seem like it's in this one either when you compare it to the regular World Tournament. It's just a World Tournament, but with no ring-outs. It could potentially be like the big World Tournament of Sparking Zero, but we have no confirmation. But it does seem like other World Tournament and big World Tournament are the same thing, because even in Tenkaichi 3, they were basically the same thing. The Tournament of Destroyers. Tournament of Destroyers is when it starts to get super interesting and different. Team battles in tournaments. That was never a thing before. I'm very sure you could not bring a team into a tournament battle. It was never possible before. You could only pick one character, and even when you're playing the game with friends, you would all have to pick individually one character. Now you can actually bring a team into battle. This is obviously a reference to the Universe 6 tournament, where Beerus and Champa both bring their teams into their tournament, and this is what that is. So yeah, basically the Otherworld tournament, but you pick team members rather than just being solo. And the Tournament of Bauer, oh boy. So the Tournament of Bauer is actually by far the toughest tournament in the game, because you have team members, sure, but you are locked to the Tournament of Power stage only, and you lose if you go out of bounds, but also you get 0 health back for every match. So it's like the Cell Games, but way harder. Cell Games is a single, you only get one character, sure, but you get 20% health back. This is a team battle where you get no health back. So in this one, you definitely don't want to mess around. In the Cell Games, you might be able to have some luxury to mess around a tiny bit if your character's really tanky, or if you can heal, or if you know you're going to win with enough health to spare. In this one, you can't mess around at all, because after you fight one team, you have to fight another team, and another team, and another team, and you won't get any health back, and most likely, if the team were AI, they will have full health every time starting a match. I'm sure the game won't take into account the damage they actually took when they were doing their fights. You'll just have to fight a full health team, and you probably don't even get the members back that you lose. Actually can into the Tournament of Power, but also keep in mind, you cannot fly in the Tournament of Power. That is the craziest part by far. You cannot fly in the Tournament of Power whatsoever. Flying is off for the Tournament of Power, and you can still go out of bounds. Now, you'll see what no fly looks like in Sparking Zero, and I have to say, again, they took a lot of inspiration from Kakarot, because Sparking Zero takes tons of bits from other Dragon Ball games, but no flying in Sparking Zero, it actually looks gorgeous, it looks amazing. I love the character animations a lot in it, and It even affects giants, so I'll actually show you guys that in a bit. But for now, the last tournament, which is the Yamcha games. I was hoping this one wouldn't return, not because I hate it, but because it's just kind of weird. Basically, you don't get to pick your character. Everything is random. Character select is random. Customization is random. Every character option is available. The timer is short. It's just weird. I don't know. It's just not something I pick whenever it's on. Even in Tenkaichi 3, I'd always skip this. Like it's I don't know. It's just weird. Why did they bring back the Yamcha games? They could have made like a new tournament. Then we have the tournament settings. You can actually edit, load, and save different tournament settings. Now, we already knew about editing them, but loading and saving them is really cool because it means you can actually potentially even share tournament settings with friends. Or if you have a specific tournament like setting you like, you can have it always be an option you can quickly like load in rather than have to set it every time. And I think that's just really convenient. You know, I think a lot of people would appreciate the convenience and the speed of being able to do such a thing. Now, though, for the tournament filters, there are quite a bit. You can filter tournaments basically kind of like categories from Dragon Ball Legends and Dokkan Battle, and you can see all the categories here now, but I will just save them as they are. You have the Dragon Ball arcs, Z, Super, GT, all the movies. This will include Super Superhero when Beast Gohan and Cell Max and Orange Piccolo come out. Do keep that in mind. Z Warriors, Turtle School, Frieza Force, Androids, Saiyans, Goku's family, Vegeta's family. Again, you can see the Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle influence in this game. Universe 7, other universes, which will be 6, 11, 2, any of the other characters that feature like Annie Lazar as well. You have to keep that in mind. Fused Warriors, boss characters, and giant characters. Now, we do have the sort charts as well, so you can see what you can actually sort characters by, making them even easier to search for or find potentially. But we have DP, alphabetical, proficiency, HP, combo, attack, key, and I'm sure you guys are going to have to imagine the rest because this actually doesn't scroll down further than this in this video. This video is again provided to us by Globeku. You can check out full video link in the description, but he does not scroll down in this, so we have no idea what is beneath this. Again, you guys will just have to let me know, but this is a really convenient feature. This might be one of the easiest ways to tell which character in a game has the most HP, because you can just see here, you can just sort it. So that's very interesting. You can actually see DP right away here, NHP, attack damage, key, all of that cool stuff. So it's a really cool way, or a really convenient way, to find out which character is really good in the tournament setting. Other settings we can see is that you can actually do a DP battle with character swapping on as a tournament setting, so it doesn't have to just be a team battle with character swaps. You can actually make a DP battle, making tournaments follow the same scheme as a ranked system, where you can only pick a certain amount of characters, and their scaling and their strength is limited by obviously how absurd they are. Again, if you have UI, Goku, and Whis, you most likely don't even have a spare slot to even put Hercule on, meaning you need to use 2 characters to go through a whole tournament with potentially 5 other characters in the enemy team, which is, again, very risky. Are you sure you want to do that? Maybe if they're your favorite characters, sure, but for the most part, no. You'll be going for team battle if you want to just pick super strong characters with no cost or limits to your team building. You can also set customization on, which you can also set the amount of health characters return, but unfortunately, the only options are 20%, just like the Cell games. Nothing. You know, again, a lot here, so I don't really feel like complaining. You can turn flying on and off. This is very peak, and we already know you can do this in custom battles as well. But I can't wait to see what kind of crazy tournaments and matches people come up with flying turned off. You can also set the out of bounds for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Now, there are a lot of maps that don't actually have an out of bounds, so this is very curious. Will they just invent out of bounds for maps that don't have it? If that's the case, that's super spooky, because I would like to know where the floor is before I lose. We'll have to figure these things out when the game comes out, but yeah, you can set out of bounds for maps. Imagine setting out of bounds for like Kami's house or Kami's lookout and falling off the platform or falling into the water of Roshi house. Just like, yeah, there you go, you lose, bye, out of the match. Then we have the CPU level settings for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Now, this isn't just for tournament, this is probably most modes in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, but the CPU levels are weak, normal, strong, and super. Now, super is the last one, obviously, and it's the hardest one. And you'll see in Globku's gameplay, super difficulty enemies aren't exactly the most threatening. I'm not saying that they need to be like the maximum difficulty enemies in Tenkaichi 3, but Sparking Zero overall does look like it's supposed to be an easier game than Tenkaichi 3. Easier to play, easier to learn, and, you know, just not as insane as Tenkaichi Hard Fight still. You can just put those settings on yourself in training mode, or if you want an even harder battle, super hard battle, you can go to custom battle mode, where you can just make the enemies really broken. We know there are 8 slots available for tournament matches, but that makes me wonder, does that mean there's 8 teams if you do a team battle, or do they make that bracket smaller? I'm just curious, because either way, that means that the player will have to involve himself in a lot of team battles. One thing I will think that is very disappointing about the new tournaments is that there is no Final Fighter character. Like, I guess people might prefer that the Final Fighter is someone who's actually in the tournament bracket the entire time, since the true Final Fighter in Tenkaichi 3 kind of diminished the whole point of the semi-final character being like a really hard opponent sometimes. A good example is that if you're playing regular World Tournament, the final character would usually end up being like Master Roshi or Videl, sometimes even Hercule, but Hercule was most likely the Final Fighter for the big World Tournament, since that is the tournament that he does also commentate in. The Cell games, Final Fighter would always be, again, Perfect Cell, and if you play it on a harder difficulty, then it would be Super Perfect Cell. And for other World Tournament, it could either be Pikkon or SSJ3 Goku. For the Yamcha games, it was always Yamcha. There's not a Final Fighter in Sparking Zero. There's no option for a last Final Fighter. There's no option to even pick a Final Fighter. So you could potentially go through a tournament, a power tournament, and never fight Jiren, which feels a tiny bit off, but, you know, it's whatever. I guess your Final Fight can instead be against, you know, Kui or, I don't know, Dodoria. Oh, maybe Guldo, if he makes it to the finals for some reason, right? I don't know. I always liked the Final Fighter. I always thought it was really cool. It was thematic of whichever tournament that they actually took part in. It was just nice. Again, is it super bad that we're missing it? Probably not. But again, as someone who played Tenkaichi 3, I miss it.
気合い入れねえと俺にはついてこれねえぞ。修行？
You
suppose I could use it?
Yamcha is a very funny guy talking down to Vegito like that. Kind of, he has no business being to get up here. So he's probably feeling crazy confident right now. But as you can see in the gameplay, yeah, the tournament enemies aren't so hard. Yamcha is, again, the final enemy of this tournament, so you'd expect his difficulty to be higher. But he's not. Oh, you can actually see the no-fly rule right there. Vegito couldn't stay in the air, he just sank down to the ground while charging up Ki. And you'll see, even though characters can boost and stuff like that, they don't even stay in the air after they boost. They always sink to the ground the moment they're, you know, not doing something that keeps them in the air, like attacking, or, you know, actually even charging Ki sinks you to the ground. So yeah, you can really only stay in the air if you do a certain action. However, one thing I do love about the no-fly rule is it actually lets you see characters running animations and stuff. And a small thing that some people on Twitter were able to notice, but some of these animations are reused from Jump Force, specifically animations like, you know, jumping on the ground, stopping your running animation, or even some characters outright running animations. A good example is that base Jiren, his running animation and his animation for stopping his run animation, like if you just stop pressing the movement stick, is the exact same as Naruto's from Jump Force. Meaning if you put them side by side, it actually is the exact same animation. Now, I don't think this is lazy. I think this is just a smart way to reuse assets because, again, it's a Dragon Ball game. You are most likely not going to see every character on the ground running to be like, oh my god, the animation's from Jump Force. How dare they reuse fighting Shonen game character animation for fighting Shonen game character? It's Dragon Ball. You'll see characters flying all the time. The reuse of the animations is not a big deal, I promise you. But I just wanted to point out that they do actually all have unique animations and the fact that some of them are from Jump Force. So that's pretty cool. I don't believe this makes a beam clash. Yamcha just fires the Kamehameha a bit too fast, and Globku was a tiny bit slow. So as you can see, no clash. I think also Vegito is just really slow at shooting Final Kamehameha. His Final Kamehameha comes out kind of slow, actually, when you see that. Like, damn, dude. A Spirit Bomb would have probably beam clashed at that point, but it'd be like that sometimes. Anything to keep Vegito below Gogeta. I respect that agenda as someone who's on Gogeta's side. So, hey ho! Let me know which fusion you guys prefer, and actually what custom battle you make proving your agenda correct. Keep in mind, maintaining stronger than Yamcha, or always about the agenda on the Studio J channel. Make up your best reason for why actually Omega Shenron could beat Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. In fact, you don't even need Omega Shenron. We can just go straight to Cabba, base Cabba even. But that is the end of that fight with Vegito versus Yamcha. And again, victory. He won the whole tournament. That was the last opponent. Tournaments aren't very hard in Sparking Zero. Again, you'll have to probably get most of the enjoyment of them from being online. But here is a little bit of Goku Black gameplay from the story mode, actually showing a much harder fight, ironically, in the story mode than you could get in training mode. And it's just, look at how crazy the Vegeta AI is. And Globku says this in his video as well. And if you want to see the full fight, featuring Goku Black and Super Saiyan Blue Goku, because he fights Blue Goku after this, the double Final Flash, man, I'm telling you. Story mode AI is somehow like 10,000 times more demonic than tournament AI, and I probably prefer that because, again, I would like for story mode fights to be hard because, you know, I would like to experience the same struggles the characters experience during those moments of actually fighting those characters. But yeah, Vegeta is just always countering. He's just locked in. He's too in the zone to stop right now. He's too ahead to quit. Too many black flashes in, he can't lose the paper attack. Other than that, the AI for Vegeta is pretty much awake all the time and doesn't really let any combo finish it. Any combo that does get pretty deep in just gets quickly ignored by a Z counter or countered by a Vanish. So Vegeta's really like, again, story mode AI looks crazy. Genuinely can't wait. If this is how hard Vegeta is for Goku Black, keep in mind there's a Super Saiyan Blue Goku that Vegeta has to fight after this. Oh, first the sick dodge into the ultimate attack. Let's go. Goku Black's oh my god. The Rosa Cypher is just so cool, man. So he finishes off Vegeta with this. Again, the ultimate attack is, I wish it was slightly cooler animation-wise, but it's fine. He finishes off Vegeta, and there's still a Super Saiyan Blue Goku after this with tons of health bars. So story mode in Sparking Zero is going to be absolutely ridiculous. It makes me wonder, how hard is the final fight between Jiren and UI Goku going to be? Because Jiren is the last story, and UI Goku is the last boss. Therefore, that's going to be the hardest fight in the game, most likely. But, hey, we'll wait to see what that looks like when the game comes out. Other than that, I do think this is a solid place to end the video, so I do hope you guys enjoyed. And if you enjoyed, then again, please leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe, it greatly supports the channel. And leave a comment down below as to what you'd like to see next, fellas. Love you all. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Take care and peace.